Good evening, guys. Most of you may know who I am. My name is William Newman. I'm spearheading this thing called The Resistance. With me, I've got my partner, Dean Donnell. Dean's going to be giving us some important takes on what we have going on in our communities. So, with that being said, let's get to know Dean a little bit.
Hello, my name is Dean Donnell, better known on TikTok as East Coast Double D. I am born and raised in Nashua, New Hampshire. I have known Will for well over a good amount of time now.
Elementary school, I think.
Yeah, like quite literally, like very early elementary school. We used to be best friends. We're still good friends. When I found out his motivation to actually get the government more transparent, especially our local government, I immediately wanted to hop on board. I 100% fully support his, his ideals, his motivation, his message. So I'm just here to, try to solidify that movement a little bit more, with the mix of his following, my following. Try to get some stuff done.
Yeah, so everything that you just mentioned about the resistance, I gotta say, I greatly appreciate that. To be honest, when I first fired up the resistance, I didn't realize the impact I was having. Like the first 2 weeks I was doing it, I thought I was just throwing videos out there, and I almost felt like I was just talking to myself. But little by little, you gain a little bit more confidence and a little bit more traction, knowing that you're not just talking out of your ass and that you're addressing real problems. It's a big mountain that you got to overcome when you're tackling issues like this, because you know this. You're silenced. People try to encourage not stepping up to the plate and, being someone of courage. And that strength factor has been removed from society, which is one of the reasons why I believe the government is starting to take advantage and tee off on all the citizens, because I don't think the citizens know exactly what to do or where to start when it comes to battling an entity so massive like a corrupt government. There's a lack of confidence as far as that goes. And I remember one of our buddies, I prefer not to keep names on the podcast just for respect reasons. But I remember I was sitting in his truck not too long ago, maybe about like 2 years ago or so. And, we were talking about the problems in the world. And I says, what we really need is we need one person who has the courage to address this. And we need a time and a place. If we have those two things, if we have a time and a place, and everyone who agrees with that message meets in that room, that is the moment when everyone's going to start to develop the conviction and look around and see how many heads that there is. And I think the resistance is starting to do that. When we started the resistance, we saw like 7 followers on the Only Resistance Instagram page. And now we're starting to see 200 on TikTok. And now we're at like 30 something on IG. And all these different platforms. These numbers really add up. So a message to all of you guys, you're not alone. Quite frankly, our adversaries are outnumbered. You guys just need to show yourself. You guys need to get with the resistance, as I say at the end of every little clip that I post.
And just to give a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
You can be any political identity in order to join the resistance. You can be liberal, conservative. You have people on the far-end conservative side who don't want to have anything to do with people on the left, and then you definitely have people on the left who don't want to have anything to do with the people on the right. I think it's about finding that middle ground, because I think both sides have a bunch of good stuff to offer without me actually coming out on which side I'm on. I do believe that there is some sort of middle ground we can meet in. So you don't have to be any political identity to actually join the resistance. You just have to believe that there is definitely a corruption in our government, whether it's local, federal, quite even worldwide. I mean, there is corruption absolutely almost everywhere in the world right now. And like my main man, Will Newman, is trying to do is trying to just make that more transparent. And we are going to do everything in our power to try our best to make that transparent as possible, which, you know, according to the Constitution, it should be completely transparent.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are starting to forget the Constitution. I think that's the Skull's fault. But you couldn't be more spot on about all the battles that I know the government has sparked between multiple different community groups. We have black people versus white people. We have Republicans versus Democrats. You know, we have men versus women. I mean, there's all different types of battles because they know damn straight that if we start merging a couple people together that are a little different and find some common ground, that's when the dangers of the corruption's going to come to an end. And I hope we're starting to see the beginning of that. But time will tell as far as that goes. You couldn't be more spot on.
I don't know if this is like for like a later segment or whatever. Just something that literally just came to my mind. For white versus black people, I noticed that my 2-year-old daughter, who is white, one of her favorite shows, details people of color. She doesn't ever say, like, hey, daddy, like, why is that person not my color or anything. So I think racism is actually taught. So to not actually influence your kids or give your kids, even if you are influenced, to not push that on your kids is the best thing to do. Just like I'm sure kids of color don't look at a white character and go, hey, like, why is that character white? Like, kids that young don't actually believe or know of racism. And it completely actually breaks my heart that it is actually it would be very, very easily probably to influence my daughter that character of color is the bad one. It would be very easily to do that, but she doesn't feel that in her heart. She doesn't naturally see that. So like racism is 100% taught, and I'm glad to see it, like especially in the South, getting like a lot better than it was.
You were talking to me a lot about the South, things that I didn't know because I don't travel too often.
Yeah, they're getting a lot more. The population of colored people in the South has increased significantly, and I wouldn't want to say forced, but they have been coexisting for quite some time now under new laws like non Jim Crow laws. Kids as young as my daughter have been growing up with each other, and it's kind of like the older people down south that tend to be more racist, but the younger generations actually seem to be picking something up about equality and you're pretty much judged down south right now by your morals. Like if you're a thief, if you're a liar, if you're, another number of things that have nothing to do with race or sexuality, you will be judged. Absolutely.
As you should.
But as far as just race goes, they seem to actually be picking it up. And I'm talking about like the southernmost part of Alabama, where I actually lived in for a year, 2 years. Uh, it actually makes me very happy that they're picking that up, uh, and just all around the country in general.
Yeah, no, I don't think you could have said it better. Look, in general, people are mad. People are fed up. We don't know what's going on with our government. The National Police Department website has been down for. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I could be wrong on this. They've been down for about 8 months. I think it's been longer, and that's where all of the public records are. So there's no transparency as that goes. And I'm personally spearheading the resistance. I'm not at the point yet where I'm starting to dig up those details, but that's part of the plan. And I'm going to go into that a little further into the discussion, talk about some of the officers that we have. You're representing one of those officers, so thank you for all your service as far as resistance-wise goes, and we're going to be amplifying that up big time. But yeah, we can't trust the government. We don't know what's going on. They're not willing to tell us. They're using our money to purchase things that I bet you if we went around and took a survey on, none of the population would approve of. And unfortunately, a lot of this money that is just being thrown away is really just being used to weaponize against us, against good people. We're prioritizing our attacks on the wrong people, on the people that wake up every single day and try and go to work for hours upon end, working 2 jobs, and in really shitty situations working 3 jobs and going nowheres, getting no progress. People are getting tired of that. People are getting tired of being targeted by law enforcement because we're investing all this equipment on catching people going 7 miles over the speed limit when, as what you told me, we've got a lot of children missing. A lot. I'm going to be honest, I try to keep my head out of the news, but you've enlightened me as far as that goes. We've got a lot of children missing. We've got a lot of drugs. We've got a lot of violent crimes going on that could be prevented. We got to remember, law enforcement's used to prevent crime, not go after crime after it's happened. That's a failed job.
We have one of the worst, and I mean worst, condition jails that is privately owned. I'm not going to say the race or what the people are, but it's privately owned by 3 different doctors. It is quite literally the worst rated, or in the top 5 rated county jails in the whole entire country. It is extremely brutal in Valley Street. Multiple people have passed away due to negligence. We have YDC, the Youth Detention Center, that's actually under current investigation to this day. Over $100 million has been awarded. I'm actually on that lawsuit for things that have happened to me in there, and this is a jail for minors specifically. And I was actually in there for weed, marijuana crimes. And I got quite literally tortured when I was in there. It can always be worse in different areas, I guess. Everybody can always have a worse day. I'm still breathing. I'm still talking to y'all. But our just criminal system is overboard. You can actually cut this out if you need to, but it's so bad to the point of sexual assaulters that this would quite literally never reign in any other prisonal facility. In New Hampshire, Concord, I believe it is, they quite literally have a gang called Saints, which is sexual assault isn't that serious. Or is not, my bad. Sexual assault is not that serious. There is a quite literal gang of sexual offenders in Concord prison, which like California, Florida, Texas, that's almost laughable to you guys that might be watching this. But our not only sexual offender issue in New Hampshire is off the charts. But New Hampshire has actually also made it a hate crime, which means if you beat somebody for uh, brutalizing a kid underage, that is the same exact crime as beating somebody up for being homosexual. Which I don't think those two things fit in the same category whatsoever. This state has gotten quite literally out of hand. For a state that says live free or die, our gun laws are still completely good, in my opinion. But
comparatively.
I mean, comparatively to the rest of the country, we probably have the best gun law